Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Elson for Catholic News Break. Here's what's happening this week in the news. We begin with news from the Vatican. For the first time, a married couple will write the meditations for the Way of the Cross service at Rome's Colosseum April 6th. The Pope has asked Italians Danilo and Anna Maria Zanzucchi, founders of the Focolare movement's New Families Initiative, to write the meditations. The meditations will be read as a cross is carried through and around the Colosseum on Good Friday. The Zanzuccchis launched the New Families Project in 1967 with Chiara Lubich, the late founder of the Focolare movement. The project is aimed at strengthening families and encouraging their spiritual growth and social commitment. New Families now claims some 300,000 members around the world. In some years, the Vatican has gone with strictly biblical stations, marking steps in Jesus' passion and death. In 1985, Blessed John Paul II began asking people to compose meditations for the Good Friday prayer service rather than using traditional texts. He asked bishops and theologians, priests and religious women, and in 2002, an international group of journalists were covering the Vatican. In news now from around the country, former U.S. ambassadors to the Holy See Raymond Flynn, who served under President Bill Clinton from 1993 to 1997, and Jim Nicholson, who represented George W. Bush from 2001 to 2005, have joined in a new effort to support federal legislation reaffirming constitutional rights to religious liberty and freedom of conscience. They are among the religious leaders and former government officials involved in Conscience Cause, an organization committed to overturning the HHS mandate. The group also includes religious leaders from the Lutheran, Jewish, and evangelical faiths. Flynn, who was also mayor of Boston from 1984 to 1993, said that this is the most serious attack on our human constitutional and religious rights that he has ever heard of. He encouraged all Americans concerned about freedom and the protection of religious values to speak out and get involved in this critical debate. In a recent CBS News New York Times poll, 57% of respondents said the insurance plans of religiously affiliated employers should be allowed to opt out of covering birth control for their employees, while only 36% said they should be required to cover birth control. Along party lines, 78% of Republicans, 38% of Democrats, and 57% of independent voters say those insurance plans should be allowed to opt out. On whether the issue is more about religious freedom or more about women's health and their rights, 51% said they thought it was more about women's rights, while 37% said it had to do more with religious freedom. However, 55% of Republicans said the issue was more about religious freedom, compared to 23% of Democrats and 36% of independents who said so. In news now from around the world, more than 2 years after the earthquake that devastated Haiti, Haitian and Dominican bishops said they will create a commission that will work to help reconstruct the Caribbean nation. Several Catholic groups have been on the ground in Haiti working toward reconstructing the country. The bishops said this new commission will differ in that it will focus on recruiting volunteers and encouraging donations from the private sector. Donations will be channeled to Catholic groups working in the country and will go towards getting quality building materials. It was the lack of quality materials and poorly enforced building codes that contributed to the destruction. The Haitian government estimated that about 316,000 people were killed in the earthquake. Though foreign governments and individuals around the world pledged billions in aid to help rebuild, there are still nearly 500,000 survivors living in tents and tarp-covered shacks in camps in and around Port-au-Prince. Political infighting may be contributing to the slow speed of rebuilding. The commission is the product of a 3-day meeting in which bishops and Catholic leaders discuss matters affecting the island the two countries share. And finally in the news, as a prayerful witness for the religious freedom they believe is threatened by the HHS mandate, a group of 12 students from the Newman Center at George Washington University prayed the rosary outside of the White House. The students walked from their campus to the White House following a Mass of Conscience celebrated at the Newman Center's chapel by Father Greg Schaefer. 3 of the women held signs that together read, "Protect Religious Liberty." Michael Russo, the student president of the Newman Center, said they wanted to show that people are impassioned about the mandate and are willing to stand for the issue, especially, he said, on a campus like George Washington, which isn't religious. Chris Crawford, a political science major who helped organize the prayer vigil, said prayer is the center of it all, broadening and strengthening the message, bringing it beyond politics. Kara Dunford, a political communications major, said it's important for college students to get involved because it's important to send a message that it's not just bishops and priests who care about this HHS mandate. Well, that is all the information we have for you at this time. Please stay with Catholic TV for more Catholic news. Until then, I'm Kevin Nelson, and I'll see you next time on Catholic News Break.